This is a short video on the eLearning pilot program presented by the Georgetown County School District. What are eLearning days? Well, in the past, Georgetown has had to cancel some school due to inclement weather and flooding, hurricanes, etc. And oftentimes this leads to a gap in learning. So to prevent that, we have eLearning days now. And so when applicable, students will be safe at home, or if they have to evacuate for some reason. And then are also avoiding having to reschedule some makeup days because students will be able to work from home. This will prevent a lapse in learning and count as a day in school. So from the school side, professional development has already started. The work is assigned via paper packets for K2, and in grades 3 through 12, we'll use the learning management system, which is Google Classroom. Schools will develop a procedure for signing out devices. That'll help get them a device. And of course, if you have a device at home and don't want to check one out, that's certainly okay. We're asking schools to send a letter to families, and we're also asking schools to post directions on their website. And we're going to provide families with a hotspot list for free Wi-Fi, although turning it into Google Classroom isn't necessary on that day. The completion of the work is what will justify attendance. We will designate a district-wide practice day. And as far as teachers, they're going to assign a packet of work for those in K2, pre-K2, and grades 3 through 5, the Google Classroom. And they will have subject matter delivered for them in the 4 core areas in grades 6 through 12. The same thing. And then assigned work will have learning goals aligned to the standards and actually require students to display mastery in that. And each student should be assigned a minimum of 200 minutes. Now this will fluctuate a little bit. Some may finish before the 200 minutes and some may take a little longer. We'll adjust as we go. We will provide virtual contact hours during the day in the elementary schools, 8:30 to 10 and 12:30 to 2 when you'll be able to contact teachers. That's their virtual office hours. In the middle of high schools, 10 to 11:30 and 2 to 3:30. And then work, of course, will be assessed according to teachers' general grading policies. As far as students, they're going to be required to do 200 minutes of engaged learning. The mock days will be considerably shorter time frames. They can access material on their own devices. They're allowed to sign out devices again, as we said. And they will be able to download course material prior to the designated day, and that will allow them to work offline if there is not Wi-Fi access available in your area. And we have a designated amount of time to complete the assignment, so they can work on them on the day that they are out. And once they return, they will have up to 5 days to return work. All assignments abide to the teacher's normal grading policy and present if the work is completed and submitted in a designated window, and absent if the work isn't completed and submitted in the designated window. Some frequently asked questions we have. When will e-learning days take place? Well, we will communicate the announcement for e-learning similar to all school cancellations, and families would be notified in advance through all kinds of different ways. How will students be prepared for this? We'll do a mock e-learning day during the first 9 weeks of the 2019-20 school year. Students would attend school like normal. However, teachers would model and provide guidance practice for students to access their learning activities. So we'll make sure they're ready when those days do actually come about. How will students assess their assignments for learning days? Well, paper packets, like we said, for K2, 3 through 12 in Google Classroom. Prior to the e-learning days, we'll have them download assignments in case they don't have Wi-Fi. How will they be graded? Within 5 days of their return, or up to the 5 days, they'll be returned to school. They will turn those assignments, and work will be submitted and graded according to the teachers and the school's grading policy. Attendance is taken by this way. You'll be marked present for those e-learning days if you've got all your work turned in. However, failure to complete assignments could result in you being counted absent. What if students need help on their assignments during the e-learning days? Well, we've got office hours, as you see established here, 8:30 to 10 and 12:30 to 2 for elementary, and 10 to 11:30 and 2 to 3:30 for middle and high. And there's all kind of different ways. Your teacher will tell your student which is the best way to reach them. How much schoolwork should be expected? And we already said about 200 minutes to complete and have activity. However, some may take a little less, some may take a little more. We will adjust as we go, learning how to create those assignments. How will students turn in their work? Well, the K2s, they bring their completed packets back, and 3 through 12, they'll upload their assignments through the Google Classroom, which is our learning management system. And again, they have up to 5 days to do that. What if my student has accommodations or identified learning needs? Well, of course, on those e-learning days, we'll continue to uphold and follow any support services and accommodations or modifications for students who have an individualized education program, ESOL students, or students with a 504 plan. And they'll certainly be supported even more once they return according to that student's plan. What can I do to make sure that my student is successful on their e-learning day? Well, try to create a predictable structure at home to foster student learning during the e-learning days. Much like we do for homework, where's your homework place and what kind of time frame and what kind of environment you want them to be in when they are working. They have established routines at most homes. And students that borrowed devices from Georgetown County will be upheld to the acceptable use policy during these days. There will not be any costs associated with this because the Georgetown County School District Board and Superintendent Dr. Dozier will not charge a technology fee for students to bring home devices, unlike a lot of other districts do. During the e-learning days, here again are the hours, if you want to jot those down, for teachers. And then teachers will inform their students the best way to get in touch with them before they go home for one of these. If you have any further questions, please contact this teacher or your school. And just a note, the filtering system that is used at school will also be used and effective when students have devices at home. Hope this has helped, and see you soon.